Alright, hello. This chap, he's just been in the news on the most wanted list. Okay, this guy's name is Ryan Wedding. Okay, and I just saw like a news article and it caught my attention because of his last name, most wanted. And I thought, well, I better look into this. Okay, and lo and behold, it has yielded yet some more connections to Back to the Future. Okay, so I'm going to go through this decode very quickly, and then I've got some more references to the wedding stuff popping up with Madonna as well. So we're going to be jumping about quite a bit. We're going to go back through some old references, but again, this whole thing with the Super Bowl 60 end of the line reference, okay, with the Back to the Future connection there. Again, if you've not seen my other videos where we've been looking at like some of these games playing out and maybe some of the connections to Back to the Future, ultimately where we're ending up is this is the Golden Gate Bridge. This is Marty on his final leap home. He's coming across the Golden Gate Bridge here. This is where they're going to play Super Bowl 60 in the Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Okay, it's the home of the 49ers, yeah, the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, and we just had the two games. I gotta say the two games. The last season game with the Seahawks and the 49ers, and the playoff game with them as well. That actually worked out pretty nice for the code of the black train going into Clayton Ravine, which is this point right here, going into the ravine in 1885. Okay, Marty's just made the leap back, so now we're looking at Super Bowl stuff, and what we end up with is the silver being destroyed, the silver crash here. So I think this is going to be linked to some kind of actual crash in physical silver, the price of physical silver, sometime around Super Bowl, maybe on Super Bowl night or within the following days. And this is what we're looking at for Super Bowl right now, seeing if this is going to play out. This is the DeLorean being obliterated, which is the Seahawks. This is the Seahawks. So this is one of the games here. So this will be, if I could just click it on the right spot, Dan. It's just so annoying. There was a spot here. This is the spot I want. So there's two Rams games. Okay, so one of these is the lead up to Super Bowl. Okay, which is going to be tomorrow. This is going to be one of tomorrow's games, maybe. This would be the Seahawks now being flattened by the Rams. This is the colors of the Rams. The DeLorean connects to the Seahawk with the gull wing doors. Okay, a seabird, and also there was a few other the colors, the silver color, and all the rest of it. So there was some connections there. And then on the back of this, on the back of here now, is a, let me show you this as well. After the trains have obliterated, it's a double Rams reference here. So Rams beating the Seahawks, and then another Rams game, which would be the final. And what do we see right at the end as the train goes over the top? Is this thing flipping around, and that is our Broncos reference there. So that's the Broncos being demolished as well at the same time. Okay, right, and there's so many references to the horse. It just feels like it's got to be the horse team, even though the Patriots are a really good reference as well for the DeLorean, because the Patriots have the silver skin face. Okay, they have the tail coming off the back with almost like fire trails off of the. I think it's called the Flying Elvis. I saw it somebody talking about the other day. Okay, so again, and with the Flying Elvis, we want to be looking at connections to Madonna, because of course Madonna's 19th birthday was when Elvis died, 1977. So right, okay, with all that, I haven't even started the video yet properly and already waffling on. So I want to show you the connections now to this chap and Back to the Future. Now that little bit there that I've just talked about, if you've not been watching the channel, you know, there was a couple other references. If you go back in the back catalogue, there's a couple of other references, again with that 49ers Seahawks stuff, and the black train going over the canyon, and then the Bears game against the Broncos as well. That fit in nicely with a little bit of Back to the Future, scene there. Yeah, with the bear getting the boot. Okay, we're on this guy though. This is FBI's most wanted, or whoever's looking for this guy, and they've just caught him. He's a bad guy right here, right? I think he's got the number 23 on as well, which is kind of interesting. But without getting too sidetracked now, we're going to go straight into the Back to the Future stuff with this dude. Okay, I actually caught, so like I said, I actually saw the wedding thing, and then as soon as they started talking about this, immediately it was a Back to the Future reference. I didn't even know he was a snowboarder at the time. All they said in the thing, I don't know if they said he was a snowboarder, or let me see if I can find the clip. No, it's this one here. So he's a snowboarder. I'm going to explain why that's important. Actually, let me show you why that's important with Back to the Future. So this is before I even looked at this little clip, news clip. But before I looked at that, before I looked at this, sorry, about him being a snowboarder, and as soon as I did find out he was a snowboarder, okay, this is what sprang to mind. The hoverboard scene in Back to the Future, okay? The hoverboard. This is extreme. I mean, I'm almost like you couldn't get a better reference to the hoverboard, really. I mean, it's, see what I'm saying? Okay, so you can see that, right? So you can see that the actual physical item is extremely similar. So now what we need to do, and I haven't even run, I've just run a few number jumps, okay? I haven't even done a proper, this is not even a proper decode of this. But anyway, let's just go through the news clip, okay? And this straight away just looks staged to me, but anyway, let's just go through it. Look at this, Studio 54 here. 540 is pretty interesting. That's also a little bit of a connection to the pentagram as well, or pentagon, should I say? That shape, okay. 540. I'm sure that's to do with angles adding up with I think it's 540. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, so before we even get into all that, look, let's just listen to what the first little bit of this. As soon as I heard this, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to be something to do with Back to the Future. Right, ready?
A government plane at 7:53 here.
Arrives at 7:53. 7:53. Okay, so straight away we're in with we're Back to the Future clock references here. Yeah, the clocks at the start of Back to the Future. You'll notice that there's a large proportion that are on 7:53. Okay, I'm not going to go into that stuff now, but it's a Back to the Future reference. Okay, so we got the 7:53 straight off the bat. We got this 5:40 here. Okay.
At the Ontario airport.
And they just start rattling off numbers.
Aliases include El Jefe, the boss.
El Jefe. Hang on a minute. The giant, the boss giant. What else?
Arrested last night just outside Mexico City.
I'll just keep going through it.
And murderer had been on the FBI's most wanted list.
Former Olympian turned accused drug kingpin. 15 million.
Wedding accused of running a major transnational.
They wanted 15 million for him. That was the reward. And what would I say? 15. It's just been so loaded with what we've been looking at. I'm not going to even go back through it. Yeah, but my favorite one is 105 days from 9/11 to Christmas. Okay. But we've had just a bunch of 51s and 15 stuff. Okay.
FBI says shipped tons of cocaine.
Tons of cocaine. Yeah, the Charlie shipped Charlie, the Charlie
From
Kirk.
Colombia through Mexico.
Is it even real?
He's also accused of ordering hits on rival.
And somewhere in here they go through some numbers with. So this guy's name is Wedding, and they go through some numbers with.
This has been a coordinated.
There's the 37 as they walk off.
Driven investigation.
Let's just listen to some. See if we can get some of these numbers popping up now.
Trafficking organization. Los Angeles as it's than 2,300 kilograms of
2,300 kilograms of
cocaine, 44 kilograms of methamphetamine,
44 meth,
44 kilograms of fentanyl,
44, 23.
8 firearms, and over
8 firearms and what?
$55 million in
$55 million. But it gets better than this because the references don't. So the 44, if you've been watching, you'll know that 44 is a big, heavy reference with the White Wedding connected with Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump. I don't know what else to say other than you really have got to almost been following along from the summertime now with the channel to know some of these references back to 44 and 729 and all the connections with Charlie Kirk and the clock tower in Back to the Future. Okay, look at this. 62, I believe there's 62 of these. This is just so random. He had 62 motorcycle collection. It's absolute BS, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to show you the connection here to Billy Idol in a minute. Yeah, and White Wedding. Look, the
$40 million.
Hang on a minute. Let's back that up. See if we can hear what Sarah's saying.
Said to be Wedding's prized possessions, valued at
42 million for them. Yeah, great. We've been hitting on that quite a bit.
In Mexico, the 62 motorcycles said to
62 motorcycles. That's a Billy Idol reference right there as well. Okay, so we're already moving into some stuff that we're going to look at later on in this thing. But this is 62 is when Billy Idol had his motorcycle accident. The 6th of February 1990, I think it was. I've got the number jump in here. But again, you're going to see how that connects back to this dude actually in just a minute. Okay, I can't remember if there was anything else in here that we needed to. Obviously, I just haven't spent a whole bunch of time. Here's this actual picture of him again, 23. Yeah, 666. However you want to look at those numbers. Also, you've got that 1 missing out of the middle of there. What else does she say? Oh yeah, and they mentioned the Mercedes-Benz here because the Mercedes-Benz typically a silver reference with Mercedes and also with the flux capacitor logo with the Mercedes-Benz. Okay, so there's a lot of connections back with the DeLorean again with Mercedes-Benz, but look at this. Oh, the Mercedes-Benz value, the custom Mercedes-Benz valued at 14 million. Yeah, the one for when the clock tower stops. So anyway, the wedding, this wedding reference. Okay, if you ever watch this channel, but they always have wacky stories on here that just look made up. Fox 11 Los Angeles. Oh dear. Okay. So we're going to go on with the wedding connections here. I don't know if we should do the number jumps now. I don't know if you can keep them in the back of your mind. I mean, I'd like to show you. Let's do the motorcycle stuff with Billy Idol real quick. Almost cost him a leg. Yeah, ran a stop sign. 26 again, the 26 reference. So February the 6th, 1990. Okay, let's look at the number jump with that. Okay, 2/6/1990. Because I know some people will say, well, just because he's got 62 bikes down doesn't mean that it's a reference to Billy Idol. But let's go through it. 2/6/1990 through to 11/30/55. That's Billy Idol's birthday. 12/4/87. Let's look at this. 12/4/87. Oh, 1490 prime. Okay, so what? Let's find this dude. I've got him in here somewhere. Let's look at this dude's birthday. 914149. You can't write it. He's actually happens to be 44 years old as well. Where was that number jump at? Okay. 14th of September in this prime number right here. That makes it look a little bit more. That's a little bit better, isn't it? Anyway, where's this dude? How do I have this dude here? Look. Okay. I mean, we go through this like Thunder Bay, where he's born. Oh dear. Caught on January the 22nd. Okay, 122 numerology, 36 added to whatever that means. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not really going to spend an awful lot of time faffing around. It's the wedding. It's the wedding. It's absolutely mental. It's the fact that he's a snowboarder. It's the fact of the hoverboard connection. Let's do his birthday. Oh yeah, by the way, his birthday, Clayton Moore, who played the Lone Ranger. Remember, we've had all these connections to Silver. And Hi-Ho Silver's, I saw this on Steve Fletcher. I didn't even know that Marty said this in the film. But right when he goes through the screen where the Indians are, okay, this is Back to the Future 3 we're talking about now, where he goes back to 1885 to save Doc. He goes through that, he goes through that screen, okay, and that's what he says. Hi-Ho Silver, same as the Lone Ranger. Again, the Lone Ranger, the silver bullet is connected to that. Obviously, the horse as well with the silver. What else? It seems like there's just a ton of references to silver in the Lone Ranger. Okay, don't forget the film as well that they made not that long. I don't think it was that long ago. With Johnny Depp in it. Okay, and Johnny Depp has the same. Is born on the same day of the year as Michael J. Fox as well. But we did a decode quite a while ago on it. It's got a train and dam reference in it as well. So fairly interesting anyway. And I think I might like to say that the guy that's I think I looked recently at a number like a week or two ago. I think there was some interesting stuff with that, but I just haven't got back to it. Anyway, September the 14th is Clayton Moore. Now remember, we're dealing with Clara Clayton, okay, for Santa Clara, and Clayton being the Lone Ranger, Clayton Moore, okay, and this reference to, and there's some players as well with the Moore surname that have been in these teams as well. But Clayton Ravine, yeah, is the name of the ravine that the Golden Gate Bridge is going across there. September the 14th, 1914 as well is his birthday, so it's like a double 149 reference. Okay. So anyway, let's just do his birthday real quick, and I'll show you something else. So if you just don't think this really does fit in with Back to the Future, well, here's his birthday through to 2/13. Remember, this is what we're looking at for the Hoover Dam right now. Okay, the Super Bowl's on the 8th. We're maybe looking at the Hoover Dam on the 13th, and maybe Madonna like right around the end of January to the beginning of February. So probably I was thinking the 31st into the 1st of February. That ties in with the train in Back to the Future, the 131 train, and also some other stuff with her and a lot of number jumps with 2-1 with her as well. But anyway, look at this. Look at this number jump from his birthday through to 213. Check this out. You can't write it. 1885. This is the year that Marty is going back to save Doc. 1885. Okay. The whole thing. So 1885 prime. The whole thing here with this scene. Oh, look, scene. Where's the scene? The whole thing with the hoverboard scene here, right, is the Hoover Dam getting broken. Yeah. This is a repeat of the earlier scene in 1955, which all ties back into 9/11 predominantly. Okay. Now this is the repeat, and this is where you notice that during this scene, Marty takes the plunge and is baptized. Yeah, is reborn. Okay, and we've got this big lake in front of the clock tower. If I could click on a decent spot. Okay, he's got his arms out, not quite Christ pose, but you know what I mean. And he's trying to walk on water. He can't quite do it. Yeah, not until doesn't get out of there until he's goes in, and they destroy the clock, the gateway here, right? The doorway into the temple. Yeah, and the temple, when it's blocked off, when it's damned, when you're damned, yeah, and blocked off from God, and that gateway is shut, yeah, that's the thing that's got to be reopened. Notice that in this scene here, they re-reference back to 9/11, yeah, right here, with the lightning hitting the top of the clock tower. You see this green here, okay, so they're re-referencing back to that original scene as well, okay, that ties back to 9/11. If you look at the skateboards in that scene, yeah, they've got the crates on the skateboards, and Marty pulls one of them off, yeah, that's the tower coming down right there in that initial 1955 scene. Batter up, we had all that with Charlie Kirk, and in fact the reference to the gateway there with the layout of where Charlie Kirk was shot, along with the reference to the baseball field where he was shot as well. So I mean, I don't know what else to say other than this is the Hoover Dam, and this is it being destroyed. Lake Mead in front of the Hoover Dam, yeah. The clock tower. There's 4 pillars at the Hoover Dam. 2 sets on each side. 2 11s. Okay. And what are there at the? What else is at the Hoover Dam? Again, there's 2 clock towers right there. Okay. They've got one for Nevada and one for Arizona. And again, we've got the foo dogs, either the cat, the lion, or the dog reference with the guarding of the temple, yeah? Okay, just as we've got the 2 winged angels, which are like Egyptian type looking Anubis type things, okay, at the Hoover Dam, okay? So there's just tons and tons of references. Okay, if you've been watching my channel for a few years, you'll know all these. We've done all these decodes, all right. Anyway, where was I going with this? I can't even remember now. Right. The point of this is, at this point, right, just moments later, we're going to have the reference to this thing. Actually, I just had it there. Yeah. Notice it's in a silver bag. Notice it's called the Gray's Almanac. Yeah, we're talking about silver again. And the blast from the past. Okay. This is the thing that causes us in the film to go into this apocalyptical state, right? Which is where, again, it's involving Biff, the Donald Trump character, this time. And this thing here causes all those problems. And again, what does this do? It predicts the future. What have we got with silver right now is we've got this connection to the price of silver being pushed up by futures contracts. Futures contracts, make-believe stuff, fictional, okay? That is creating this bubble that needs to burst, okay? So this blast with the silver reference here is pretty interesting, okay, for the idea of silver, the silver bubble bursting. I don't know, and it's all, and that is exactly what the stock market is. It's gambling, okay? Not something that if you're following the path, you know, the righteous path, gambling isn't something you should be doing. What would I say? You should not be playing the stock market. Okay, it's not a balanced situation, and it sure as hell usually affects a lot of people, especially the stock market, affects a lot of people's livelihoods in a negative way, and gives an awful lot of power to just a few people. So participation in it is not really a balanced choice. I don't know. Okay, that's my take on it anyway. So this leads us to what? The apocalypse. Yeah. At the end of this film, they realise they're in the apocalypse, and then he's got to go back to what? 1885. Okay, and that is back to a reset. Okay, 1885 is the reset, starting over fresh. Okay, building everything back up again. Yeah, you see the clock tower, they're just building the clock tower in 1885. It's pretty ominous. One of my favourite words there. Let me show you something else with this character. His birthday, we're going to connect him in with Madonna, because there's several little connections with Madonna and the wedding for sure. And not only that, but we're talking about Madonna or Diana. The Temple of Diana is the clock tower, so we can kind of interchange those, you know, Mary, all these kind of goddess type symbols. We can kind of start interchanging a little bit. Anyway, again, the Mary, the Diana, the Mother reference. 8/16/58, and of course when it gets corrupted, if you look at Madonna now, she's playing that role of the old corrupt hag, right? And that's the thing that has to essentially die before we can be reborn. Okay, anyway, look at this number that pops up, 843. That we will go to in a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to follow, we'll just kind of jump all over the place here. Just look at this first though. Let's add in the end date. 1055. 155 is our number jump from 9/11 through to 2/13, through to the 13th of February. 155 days. That is the number jump that is on the dollar bill. This is also referenced in Back to the Future. If you see my chart of Lorraine, the 55 is the lightning that hits the top of the clock tower. The 155 connection there with the dollar bill and lightning hitting the clock tower. That will not make sense if you've not seen my decode on that, but I might, depends how we get on with this, the rest of this. So anyway, but let me go back to this. 843, okay, if we go to this chart, this is the chart, here's the lightning here. I can't be bothered to write it in. Most people that are watching this have seen this several times, so I'm not going to do it, but I want to show you the 843, okay, and it's the 14th Lucas number, okay, the 14th Lucas number. This is extremely important. It's a 214 reference, okay, so it's a Valentine's Day reference, and 843 also has a counterpart number, which is right here, which would be 842, one digit less. Okay, this works throughout the table in most instances. And what this is if you add all these numbers up coming across here to 322 to the Skull and Bones number, it comes out at 842. Now, in that scene in Back to the Future, they reference thumb bandits, and in fact, as a personal reference right now, I have this really weird little cut on the end of my thumb. It is as sore as hell. It just sort of appeared. I don't even remember doing it, but I'm sure that is just like a organic sort of an organic synchronicity for me to go check all the stuff with Don McLean and American Pie, okay, which happens to be 8 minutes 42 long, okay. So we will, funnily enough, connecting back to Madonna again, let me show you this connection now. So we've got Madonna's birthday here, his birthday, and so this 843, which now you can see connects to 842 as well, and Valentine's Day is also, where's her thing here? I got it in here. Don McLean, okay, so you can see the length of that, 842, right? Now if we come down, this is Thumb Bandits. I've got a cut on my thumb. Like if I was to put my thumb up on that screen there, right where that bloody star is there, I got a cut. Just a little cut like this. Crazy. That is absolutely nuts. Anyway, so if we drop down, I've got some stuff with this. We will reference this in just a second, but in that actual scene, there's several references to the thumb. In the newspaper, there's a Thumb Bandits reference. That's really what I'm talking about when I say Thumb Bandits. Is this. Okay. So in that scene, in Back to the Future, just after the hoverboard, there's a reference to Thumb Bandits in the paper. There's a Diana reference. There's a Charles reference. There's also everything's thumbing everything to pay for stuff. Okay. Let me drop down here, and you see something absolutely crazy now. But Madonna's release of her version of American Pie, February 8, 2000. Holy shish kebabs. Okay, that's pretty mental as well. Okay, and not only that, but if we just do the number jump, not that one. I'll show you that one in a minute. Where is it? This one here. Her release through to Super Bowl 9497. Really, what I want to show you was it's 26 years. 26 years. 312 months. Okay, we want to look every once in a while. We want to look at months, especially when we're dealing with the feminine, okay, side of nature. This has got our 312 in it, and the connection right now with Frozen. Everything's frozen outside. The ice. They were doing all the ice raids in the news. You know, the Donald Trump stuff with ice. People getting shot that looked made up. Half of it looked made up as well. But the what I was going to say, this ice reference, we've gone through a lot of ice stuff before, especially with the Titanic, because that's a very big ice number for 1/4 numerology when the clock tower stops. Okay, and what we've got right now is the massive ice storm and snow across the US. We're just getting snow right now, but I'm glad we're not getting actual ice. But right, so we're in the snow moon right now. We were looking at Teen Wolf, and we had the Wolf Moon, and again Teen Wolf very connected. The werewolf, the silver reference again with the silver bullet, and the moon reference. And now we're in the snow moon, and we'll look at some stuff with Frozen with Madonna as well in a minute, because that's some interesting connections there. What's this? Anything interesting? 1177 prime. That's kind of interesting. Remember, 17 is our. This is our sort of reference to Diana, to the temple. with the 1-7 stuff. Okay, super important. Anyway, I'm really on a tangent here. Let's show you the stuff with American Pie and the release dates and everything. This is actually when it went to #1. This is one of the dates they want to give us. Okay, 1974 is a number you get out of here, which I thought was interesting because I've got another number jump that we're going to go back to, and I will do some Frozen stuff with Madonna before we move on to it. Yet another wedding reference. Where was that? 1974. I think I had it. Here it is. It was some references. This is some references back with Lady Gaga's 911, which I'm gonna tie that in a minute. But because it's absolute, Lady Gaga's 911 song and video is absolutely loaded. The Hoover Dam's in there, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Space Needle, and the Statue of Liberty is in there as well, amongst other things. Anyway, just look at where 1974. This is the song release through to the 13th. There's another 1974 showing up. We're going to go back and do a slightly different decode here with this, but this is all tying together. Okay, that was just something random on the end of there. I thought, oh my goodness, that 1974, I saw it earlier here, you know, it's just got a 0 on the end. And what's this other? No, this is a release date for the song as well, through to 213. Okay, it's the 58th star, and again, Madonna born in 58, Star born in 58. Again, it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting, right? So let's I'm gonna see where I can jump over to here now, because let's just do the Frozen stuff with Madonna as well, because of all this ice, all the ice references right now. Madonna, Frozen, 223 again, okay, 98, okay, let's look at that, right here, that's a song, okay, 223, 98 through to, this is a date that I've got pegged for her, okay, this is the 131 date, 10205 numerology. And again, this does tie in with the dollar bill, because on the dollar bill, again, without showing the decode, but at the bottom of the dollar bill, which was a heavy Broncos reference, by the way, there are, in the bottom two corners on the Washington side, there is a reference to the quarter and the actual dollar bill itself, which gives us the numerology of 125. In fact, it should be in the order of 251 if you were looking at it as you would look at the dollar bill. The quarter references on one side of the dollar bill, and the dollar references on the other side of the dollar bill in the bottom corners. Okay, 120. Anyway, we've got that number showing up here, 125 or 521. Okay, 521, and 521 again is another reference to 213. Okay, let me show you in the chart of Lorraine. Let's get rid of this. This is going to take forever, and it's so annoying because I'm not even really going into it in proper detail. But 521. This is also at the top of the dartboard as well. It's 13th Lucas number. Okay, 213. It's the start of Lucas numbers. 213, 213. Okay, this is at the top of the dartboard. Okay. So let's go back to this. So 521. Okay. This is also again. Okay, so what, Dan? Well, we get the same numerology. I think it's a different. Let's just look down. There's a remix of this song. Okay. The Sick Kick remix. Okay, and look at the dog on the front of here. Very similar to. Got these ears that remind us of the dogs at the Hoover Dam. I say the dogs at the Hoover Dam, the winged angels at the Hoover Dam that look like dog heads as well. Okay, probably should have had a picture in there to show you, but if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, the release of that song, which I probably should have shown you, which was again, this is 1 2 3 or 3 1 2 numerology. If you put your date 3 2 3 1 2, you've got the 3 1 2 2 1 3 reference there, just in the date. So this is already 2 1 3 referencing. And if we go through to that actual particular date, not that actual particular date, the date that we've got pegged from Madonna to Croak on, we've also got we've got 152 numerology again. Okay, it's not the same order, but it's kind of interesting. You know, it's little things like this that are kind of interesting. You know, when we looked at this one, we've got this 343 showing up, which again is connected to Madonna. Whenever you see that, that's connected to Madonna. 27 is connected to Madonna. I mean, it's just, oh dear. 343 as well. The reference is the train in GoldenEye. Okay, and I'm actually going to show you another connection to that train in GoldenEye in just 1 second. So, on the topic of weddings, let me show you something. On the topics of, so segueing from this guy that's the wedding, right? On the topic of weddings, and we've already looked at, oh jeez, we looked at the motorcycle connection with Billy Idol, and Billy Idol, of course, does. Let me show you this as well. Billy Idol does White Wedding. Okay. Hey Little Sister. Okay, and then we had Lost Boys as well. Lost Boys with Cry Little Sister. Okay, and in this music video with the White Wedding, let me show you. We have the motorcycle crashing through here. Okay, see him on his helmet on there. I'm sure it. Okay. Wish I could have just got the Las Vegas reference there. Sin City right next to the Hoover Dam, yeah. Wish I could have got a little bit better shot. There's the motorbike coming through, so we're referencing the motorbike crash again as well. All this stuff's tying in on itself, right? Where is... I've got to think where the crowd is here. We want to get to the Madonna reference in the crowd. Oh, I just saw it. Right here. This guy in this outfit with the unibrow, yeah. This hat on, the grey suit. This is a Madonna reference right here. For her music video, Who's That Girl? Okay. Again, I haven't got time to explain every last little detail here, but I don't know if we've got. I think we do have a 326 reference coming up somewhere in here. The release of this was 326, and also Diana has 326 numerology out to that date from her, I think from her birthday. I can't remember if it's her birthday, death date, or what, but there is a connection with 326 to, I believe, either Super Bowl or the date, sometime around there. Okay. Anyway, this is this reference to Madonna in White Wedding and Who's That Girl. Okay. Now remember, in the film Who's That Girl, we have the same train that is in Back to the Future, the Rams train. Okay, so it would make sense that that if they're going to have a Madonna tribute thing at the Super Bowl, okay, then the Rams are going to be there because that same train is in Madonna's film Who's That Girl. Okay, the same this same coloured train. Let me show you. Where has it gone? The same train that's in here. I say the same train, but this same coloured train. I don't know if it's exactly the same locomotive or not, but it's the same brand, whatever you want to call that. It's got wearing the same colours, except she drives the Rolls Royce, which again, the Rolls Royce, if you look at the grille of the Rolls Royce, okay, it has the Temple grille on it. Okay, it's the clock tower grille. Okay, where the radiator sits on the Rolls Royce, you know, with the Spirit of Ecstasy, Flying Lady. Okay, yeah, that's what the DeLorean is, the Flying Lady, the Spirit of Ecstasy. Yeah. Ay ay ay. All right. I'm all over the place here. I don't even know what I'm doing now. Like, what were we even talking about? Okay, Billy Idol stuff. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done with the Billy Idol stuff. You'll know that if you've been watching me talk about Billy Idol and Madonna. Billy Idol and Madonna, right? Madonna, so if I unclick this, Madonna nearly always has 1, 2, 4 numerology. Billy Idol nearly always has 1, 2, 5 numerology in terms of the way their two birthdays fall in relation to one another. Those numbers just pop up for both of them, you know. 1, 2, 4 for Madonna and 1, 2, 5 for Billy Idol. I haven't actually checked if there's a connection with that stuff yet or not with those two. I just haven't had time. Anyway, where were we at? Oh dear, I wanted to show you this story about Vinnie Jones, right? I just noticed this today, and it kind of just randomly I saw this. Right, I can't remember why I put Vinnie Jones back in there, or whether I just was on a tab and this was on there. But anyway, Vinnie Jones reveals Madonna rejected 14 million wedding performance offer. And I'm like, what? What is this made up story about weddings again? Okay, and with Vinnie Jones, because we were just looking at Vinnie Jones, because he had, again, a 25 reference. We'll look at that number jump again, but he had a 25 reference through to the 31st or the 1st of February, so 31st of January, with his birthday through to that day. Okay, and he is super connected to. There's a big connection to Madonna and him, to Madonna and Vinnie Jones in the Guy Ritchie film Snatch. Okay, and anyway, this story comes out, and there's some numbers involved in it. I can't remember off the top of my head what the numbers were, but I've got a couple of things up here. A couple of articles. I don't know if this one's gonna. I don't really want to read through it, and this is 14 million in Australian dollars probably, because the actual figures that were quoted. Let me see. I thought I had a. Let us see. Well, I thought I had that. Here it is. Vinnie Jones is talking about it on. I haven't done that. Vinnie Jones was talking about it on Virgin Radio with Chris Evans. And anyway, the story goes that a mate of his was having a wedding, and I guess the daughter or whatever really liked Madonna, and so he wanted her at the wedding. The guy's loaded, and I think the first time it's 2 million for 45 minutes of work, and then it's like 5 million. I can't remember all the numbers for 45 minutes of work, and then it's 7 million. So there's a whole bunch of numbers in there that you could look at for 20 minutes work, you know. And so and the long and short of it is Madonna refuses every time, and the answer is she doesn't do weddings. Madonna doesn't do weddings. Okay. If you put, so I just thought it was an interesting story that just popped up, you know, to do with Vinnie Jones. We've just been looking at Vinnie Jones. the number 25 obviously connects to weddings. Obviously the silver jubilee, yeah, the silver anniversary, the 25-year anniversary of a wedding. Okay, so the silver connection again, and again all these 25 references to silver. Don't forget, you know, the you know, in the dollar bill we've got that reference to 25 as well with the Broncos, which is where the hell's my? I thought I had a thing up here. Is the quarter? Yeah, Washington's head is on the quarter. Yeah, it's the silver coin. This references the moon, the silver coin. Yeah. Right. What else? So anyway, this story, basically she just says, I don't do weddings. I thought, well, I'll put that in just to see if there's anything interesting. You got 166. That's a marginally interesting number. We've got the 127 showing up, 214 showing up. So it's a fairly interesting number. And also, if you go back up here, if you do the 239, yeah, this is really interesting to do with, you know, all kinds of things with the crossover from Virgo to Libra. That's the cross. That's Mary to Christ. It's the 52nd prime. Okay. Again, this is fairly interesting. Okay. The 23rd of September is an interesting date. Personal reference for me. What else to say about it? I don't know. Some other interesting numbers there anyway, but I don't do weddings. Okay. I have not had time to look up connections to the wedding singer or any of that other stuff. Probably some connections there as well with that. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting connection. Again, Vinnie Jones with the 1-5 numerology. Yeah, just as we started off talking about the 1-5 stuff. Through to the 31st of January. It's a potential day for Madonna. 2500th prime. Okay, the 25. Yeah, Diana's wedding dress. The train on the wedding dress should tell you something. The train on the wedding dress was 25 foot long. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, it could point to the 5th of February. It could point to a whole bunch of other dates, you know. But this is just interesting, yeah. You know, this is the date we got picked out right now. You know. What else we got? This Ryan Wedding character. I had something else with him, didn't I? That connected to. I can't remember what it was now. Felt like I had another connection with him to. Boy oh boy, I cannot remember. Anyway, Vinnie Jones. So we did the thing with the snatch with his favourite song is, or he likes Lucky Star, the Madonna song. That's playing when he gets in a fight and I guess gets shot. Yeah, we're talking about the silver bullet. And what else to say about it really? Also, there's a train spotting reference, and that song is also playing in that train spotting reference, I think, as they're driving down the road with Spud in the window there. And what else? I think even the pub had a reference to Who's That Girl, with the name of the original. No, I think the name of the pub was kind of play on Loud and Trot as well, from Who's That Girl. I think it was the old Trouts. I can't remember, but there's a whole bunch of little references. Okay, what else we got, Dan? As we're starting to get a bit all over the place. I want to just touch on this Lady Gaga stuff, because this is like another personal reference. Just been hearing this song over and over and over again all week long, and now it's stuck in my head, right? So I thought, well, you know what? Just because of the lyrics, like, you know, if it's the last night, you know, If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. Yeah. If the party was over and it was our time on Earth was through. Yeah. So it's a sort of an apocalyptical song, a duet again. That's quite interesting. And it was Lady Gaga, so I was like, you know what? And obviously Bruno Mars with the war reference, but I just go look at it, right? And it's an August the 16th, so I'm like, well, I've got to have a proper look at it now, right? Because this is Madonna's birthday, August 16th. Yeah, 4/11 even. Yeah, again clock tower numbers. Again, Madonna has the 114 in a gematria, so I got to look at it. So let's do the number jumps with this, okay? This end of the world song, right? And let's look at some of the number jumps here. Okay, first things first. That's the release of the song, and we're looking, well, we want to actually look to Super Bowl. So let's look at this one first. 5-4, 5-4. And I tell you what is interesting. Remember that in the that first the first news article, yeah, the hanger 54 540 on it. This is kind of interesting. This is the day before Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't know, that's marginally interesting. Anyway, 541, what the hell's that? Come on. Oh, 100th prime and 10th star number, so that's pretty impressive. Especially with starting over numbers again, you know, dear oh dear. You could go around in circles talking about all the different references. You can connect back with that. Anyway, this Lady Gaga song, also the 911, this 911 song. This is absolutely loaded for, and of course, Lady Gaga's been called, kind of the next Madonna or whatever at some point, I'm sure. And also in this music video for this song, I've not got it up, but I believe there is a reference to Madonna dying in that video as well. It's the bit where the arm falls off and the little doll thing goes inside the box. It's right at the start of the video. I've got time to go back through all this stuff, but this is why this video is interesting with Madonna. It's got the Hoover Dam in it. It's got the Golden Gate Bridge. It's got the Space Needle in it, right? 252. 252 long, again with the 52 stuff. Again, that is the cup, the chalice. The 5225 is the cup of chalice. September the 18th, 2020. We did one of the number jumps. Okay. Oh dear. Oh, again. Oh well. I have to go back now, but we will look at 543 here in a second as well. If I just drop back, you can see that 543, 345 is in the number jumps here as well. Kind of connected to Madonna. You could connect it back to the 9th, which is the white. Again, remember, 2/9 is the wedding day. That's probably why I had that on there like that. Okay, so that again is super duper interesting. Anyway, let's get to this next number jump or whatever the hell it is. So this is the release of that 911 through to 911 2001. It's 19 years 7 days. 19 years 7 days, right? Back from that song to 9/11, right? Now let's look at another number jump here. This is that song through to 28. 197 days. Okay. And of course you go on to the next day. I can't remember if there's anything interesting here. No, it wasn't. Okay. But I think that's what was interesting about the whole thing. I can't remember if you went to, so 197 was well interesting with this connection back to 197 again. Okay. And 9/11. So that is I thought it was mental. 5540 here again. It's the 440th composite. Blah blah blah. I don't know why I put that in there. The sum for that is 168. That's kind of interesting with Madonna. Anyway, not to get too bogged down with that. We've done that. Okay, let's move on. I've got a feeling that some of this, I've got some other number jumps to connect in with that as well down here. I can't remember off the top of my head. Alright, we're going to go completely random now, right? And this was just something that I wanted to put in here because remember Vinnie Jones, well, let's go back to Vinnie Jones in just a second. But Rosanna Arquette, she's in the death scene in Pulp Fiction with, you know, that references, I believe references Madonna's death and the connection to the Hoover Dam with Eric Stoltz there, Back to the Future, Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta. I mean, it's just absolutely loaded, that scene where they resurrect the feminine character there. And not to mention Uma Thurman as well has got a bunch of connections to Madonna. But August the 10th, 1959 is Rosanna Arquette's birthday, and she plays the kind of twin in Desperately Seeking Susan. And in Teen Wolf, in the background, they kind of have a reference to it with two of the characters that kind of keep showing up in the film, sort of in the background. Okay, you'll know exactly who it is if you see all his friends, all of Scott's friends, Marty's friends, on the bleachers there. You'll see the reference to Desperately Seeking Susan with the two characters that sat with them. Anyway, loads of references in Desperately Seeking Susan to stuff we've already done. October the 10th, 59 is her birthday. I just wanted to show this because where else do I put it? I guess a standalone video, but her birthday through to the 31st. Check this one out. The 2700 prime. So we had Vinnie Jones. Was this Vinnie Jones here? Vinnie Jones with the 2500th prime, and then now her with the 26th. So that I thought was pretty mental. Hang on a minute, where are we going? Where I'm at now. This computer again is running slow again. I don't know what the hell the deal is. It was doing alright earlier on. Not responding, of course. So I can't remember if there was anything else I wanted to mention about Rosanna Arquette. Hopefully this thing's okay. We're on another set of number jumps that I want to show you actually. What was this one? That's actually Billy Idol's. What was this? This is Billy Idol's birthday through to that date. Let's see what that is. 25631. Oh, it was, yeah, this was kind of interesting as well because it was 22808. The 2288 reference was this bloody Donald Trump thing again. Yeah, albeit that we got a slightly different order there. Okay, it was 88022. So that was marginally interesting with Billy Idol and the 22808 there. Yeah. What else we got here? So, yeah, that was hers. Okay, the 2700 prime, that I thought was good. Motorcycle accident we've done. This is, yeah, we already did this with the what was this one? Okay, that was the one. Let's click that and I'll show you that again. That was the, oh, did we do this one? I can't remember. 166 prime here. This is Billy Idol's birthday to the to Ryan Wedding, okay, and then also didn't we have another number jump? It was this one here. This was the motorcycle crash to Billy Idol's birthday that gave us the 149, yeah, Clayton Moore reference with the 14th of September, yada yada yada. Okay. I'm losing track here of what we've got done. Text. Okay, what's this next one on? Okay, so now we're jumping on to just something else that I wanted to show you, because when I did that 9/11 Lady Gaga number jump, I was like, you know what? I wonder if I could do something similar with this particular date to do with the Hoover Dam. I was just interested. It just got me thinking. I was interested to see, because this was a date back in 2023 that I was really hot for something happening at the Hoover Dam. And as you can see, this is the birthday of the Hoover Dam, 30th of September 1935, through to 9/11/2023 was 32123, and this is super duper loaded, right? Because again, if I just show you this chart again, right? If you look here with Lucas numbers, right, and you come across to the 10th Lucas number, it is 123, and the total to this point is 321. Okay, so this was just when I saw, you know, kind of those numbers showing up with the Hoover Dam and 9/11. Man, I thought for sure something was going to happen on that day. So I thought that was a very important day. Anyway, my thought was, well, wonder if there's anything from this day on to the 8th or the 13th or whatever. Anyway, I ran out to the 8th here, the Super Bowl day, and lo and behold, it was something interesting. So I went from that 2023 date, which is super important, significant, to 2/8 this year, 8/8/1. Of course, you could wangle that. I mean, maybe you could say I ought to start on the 12th and go through. Yeah, you could kind of wangle that to at the 88 miles an hour reference, or again, you could just look at the day before, the 7th. Yeah, this could also be an interesting day for Madonna, just right before Super Bowl, the day before Super Bowl. Yeah. With the 88 reference there. But again, if we look at this number 881, it's again with this 152 stuff, the 25, you know, the quarter and the $1 bill, the 152. Okay, and in the dollar bill, if you read this number backwards right here, this would be right for the dollar bill, reading from left to right on the dollar bill, but it would be 251. Okay, so you have to read that number backwards. Again, just, you know, I mean, I don't want the chances of all these things really lining up this much. Also, look at this with the snow moon. Okay, the snow moon, yep, the snow moon 26 is on Sunday, February the 1st. That is pretty interesting, isn't it? Yeah, with all these quarter references. Remember I was saying the quarter is a reference to the moon, the silver reference, and this connection to snow. Again, the Frozen reference with Madonna. I mean, I don't want, you know, round in circles. The 125 again with that number jump with Frozen. Again, another set of 152 there with this one. This is the remix of the thing. It's got the 312 in it there. You know, just interesting stuff. I thought I had something. I don't know what I've done with it. Hang on a minute. I'm sure I had something for. Now, that's kind of annoying. I can't remember what I did with it actually. Let's keep on going down to the bottom of here. What's this one? Yeah, that was the stuff with. It might have been. Like, this is the problem. I got so many little references floating about. I can't remember all this, everything. That was the number one. That was American Pie going to number one. I'm just really trying to think. That's crazy. American Pie there. 2-8. What else we got? US Quarter, Silver Jubilee, all 25 references. Christopher Reeve as well. We had him. He is like a, he's 9, 25, 1952. So it's a 925. And I was watching. Can't remember what I was watching. They was talking about. I think it was Jesus Christ in Standard is 925 or something like that in the Gematria. So again, pretty interesting. I think I've really covered everything. I know there's a couple of things in here, and this is what I was going to show you, because I had a reference to this number on the side of the train. It was either 745 or 5, I think it was 547. I think it was in this. So this is the train, this scene in GoldenEye with the tank and the train. This is a reference to Madonna's death. So this 745 on the side of the train is pretty interesting because yeah, I believe it was around with this one. Where the hell is that number jumped on? This one right here. Oh yeah, click that onto the 13th. Okay, so there's that 745. So I thought that was kind of interesting. We had the 343 pop up earlier, and I saw this as well, and that's why I put that train in there to remind me to talk about it, the 745. If I go to the other chart, you'll see why that is so important with the 44 and the white wedding and everything else. Let me show you this other chart. Okay, so this is just instead of the sequences of Fibonacci, Lucas, and Pi, now we have the cycles of those three different cycles for those sequences, those 3 different sequences. Anyway, what you'll notice is that 547 is in the middle of here, and 3, you go through the 44, so 343, which is on the tank in that scene as well, is right through here, and it forms the cross like Christ was carrying the cross. And you'll notice that 44 in the middle of this thing, which has been so important with the wedding, the white wedding, is right at the center of this, right? And this whole row here connected to GoldenEye, this is Pierce Brosnan's birthday, and then on the tunnel in the film where the tank is sitting is this number here, which connected back to Hulk Hogan and yada yada yada, just a load of different bits and pieces in there. But again, I just thought, well, that's interesting that that's right there with the train connection. I think I'm going to leave it there. I think I've waffled enough. The problem is there's so many. It's like when I see something now, it's like, oh, I know exactly what that. Well, I know the references in my own head, but it's difficult. Like this would take hours and hours and hours to go through and show everybody the actual scene and go through the scenes, and this is what I'm saying is all this stuff is in the back catalogue, I'm trying to think if there's anything I've missed. No, this is the big takeaway. Is actually we don't need that picture there. It's this one. Yeah, it's this, the hoverboard. That is what leads us. This whole scene is to do with the Hoover Dam. Yeah, Hoover. This dude right here. Oh my goodness. Hoover. 2-3 there. Okay, and the idea here is this is just before the crash. Before the crash. It's actually referenced. The hoverboard is actually referenced with the train as well. Yeah, Marty slips the hoverboard to Doc, and also I will say this as well, that they use the hoverboard to retrieve the almanac as well from Biff in the tunnel. And if you remember, I did a decode about that connected back in with the Channel Tunnel. So it's just all over the place with the references are just crazy, the way they just sort of tie in on one another. Anyway, we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow with these games, because they're both underdog teams, so I don't know, maybe that's part of it as well with this whole wolf dog thing, and Sirius and all the rest of it. The two underdog teams winning, it would be crazy, wouldn't it? But again, if this does connect back, I wish I had maybe should have had that up, but if I had the Who's That Girl reference with the same train with the Rolls Royce in front, yeah, that Rolls Royce gets wrecked later on in the film, okay? And that Rolls Royce and they reference it in Back to the Future as well, because Marty has to avoid the crash with the Rolls Royce. But in Who's That Girl, red rum is written on the side of that Rolls Royce, which is again another Colorado reference back with The Shining. Okay, so I don't know what to say. Yeah, crazy. I'm just thinking to myself right now. I'm going to leave it there, right? I'll catch on another video here pretty soon. That way I can get rid of all these blooming tabs. And I really don't think I've gotten too much off of that. It's the blooming iPet Goat stuff, isn't it? With the are we going to see the Black Madonna at the Super Bowl? Where the hell is it in here? Right here. Right here. I don't know. Maybe that's what we'll see. Is it snowing here? I don't know what that's doing. Is it snowing? I haven't even had time to sit down and really go back through this and just see, looking at it through a new lens or whatever, just to see if there's any other connections here with Madonna or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I will catch you on another one soon. Alright, cheers, bye. If my thing will ever come up so I can turn it off.